What's up, my YouTube family? Sergeant Graybeard back with another Division 2 video. Today is Friday, March 26th, and as always, I hope this message finds you healthy and safe. In today's video, my friends, I'm going to be highlighting one of my favorite ways to run with a Diamondback. This thing is an absolute beast. You can see from this footage, I'm one-tapping elite NPCs on heroic, and the thing is an absolute monster. Now, if you happen to be new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Secondly, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to be a part of our gaming family. And if you enjoyed this or found it helpful at all, take a quick second and hit that like button. It really helps us out. So as we start this video off, once again, I like to say in every build video that I do, this is just a template. This is how I like running it. You may want to run it different ways. And to be honest with you, with a build like this, there are so many different ways to run with a thing. You really want to cater towards your game style. As always, I'm showing you a little bit of footage, then we're going to cut to the build itself, and then after the first build, I'm actually going to show you a variant that you may want to run with if you don't have certain pieces of gear that I'm highlighting, but again, you can see from this footage, I mean, you're just putting out so much damage with this thing. Now, I typically run with this build when I'm in a group. Reason being is because the talents that I have are really based for cover-to-cover moves, staying towards the back, things like that. However, you can run this solo, obviously. You may want to tweak a few things, but now let's get into the build itself and we'll go from there. One thing I want to mention really quick for new and returning players is that you can get the Diamondback as a guaranteed drop from completing Kenley College. Now, unfortunately, it is closed this week. However, it should be open next week. The other option you have is, let's say if you have a dedicated group that you're playing with, you can go to a mission or go to the summit. You know, you want to have any place where the rifle is the targeted loot, and if someone gets one, they then can give it to you. Starting off with the specialization, I recommend using sharpshooter for a bunch of reasons. First of all, you're getting a 15% headshot bonus with one of the talents on here. You're also getting a bonus when you're in cover for your armor. You're getting a drone bonus. There are a bunch of great reasons to use this thing. One friendly reminder as we move on is regardless of what specialization you choose, make sure in that weapon tree you choose the proper weapon and activate it so you are getting a 15% damage bonus with that weapon. Now moving on to the build itself, obviously the primary weapon is the Diamondback. This thing, like I said before, is an absolute monster, and that is because of the talent Agonizing Bite. You can see here with that talent, the Diamondback randomly marks an enemy. Hitting that enemy consumes the mark, guaranteeing a critical hit with damage amplified by 20%. After hitting a mark, all shots fired are guaranteed critical hits for 5 seconds. A new random enemy is marked afterwards and whenever you reload. Now moving on to the mask, it is a named Douglas and Harding mask, Punch Drunk, and I'm using that because of the 20% headshot damage that it gives you, and I'm also stacking critical hit damage as well. However, this is one of those pieces where you have multiple options. For instance, if you happen to have the Coyote's mask, I recommend running with that, especially if you're in a group. It's going to put out a ton of damage, and it will also give you extra crit hit chance and crit hit damage as well. Moving on to the body armor, it's the one piece of Grupo Sombra that I'm running with, so I do get that 15% critical hit damage bonus. Now, it all depends on what type of gear you have and where these rolls are, but with pretty much all of these pieces, I'm trying to stack headshot damage and crit hit damage. In regards to the talent, I've chosen to use Headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 125% of that killing blow's damage. Damage is capped to 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1,250% if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. This again, my friends, is one of those pieces where you can choose any talent you want. There's Glass Cannon, there's Overwatch, there's Spark. Again, take your time, go through the different options, and figure out which one works best for you. Now moving on to the holster, it is one piece of Walker and Harris, so we get that 5% weapon damage. Again, I'm stacking headshot damage on this. Now we make our way to the Kneepads, and you do again have a few options here. I've chosen to use Sawyer's Kneepads because you have the talent Stand Your Ground. It increases your total weapon damage by 3% each second you are not moving, stacks up to 10 times until you start moving again. Now for those of you that may not have these Kneepads, what I'm going to do is after I show you this version, we're going to go back to the shooting range. I'm going to show you a small little change you can make and still be putting out a ton of damage. Now moving on to the gloves, I am using the Contractor's gloves. I absolutely love these things. They are, in my opinion, one of the best gloves to have equipped at any time, and that is because of the attribute 8% damage to armor. Now, if you don't have these gloves, this is a great place to put a piece of Overlord because with that gear set, you're going to get a 10% rifle damage bonus. Finally, my friends, we have the backpack. It is one piece of Providence, so we get that 15% headshot damage. Now, I've chosen the Talon Vigilance. It increases total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. This is once again one of those pieces where you can choose multiple talents depending on how you want to run this thing. You can run with Companion or Composure. Again, my friends, try out different versions and pick one that's best for you. In regards to the skills I'm using, I'm running with the Reviver Hive in case things get sideways, and I'm also using the Assault Drone because it's a great distraction for NPCs and it does put out some damage. When it comes to my stats, you can see that my crit hit chance is really low. It's at 28%, my critical hit damage is at 140%, and headshot damage is at 160. And again, really tweak this any way you want to really cater towards your game style. Now, as promised, I wanted to show you a version that did not have Sawyer's Kneepads. All I've done for this build is swap them out with Fox's Prayer. They're the named Overlord Kneepads, and they're fantastic because it has that 8% damage to targets out of cover. Now, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I had Sawyer's Kneepads equipped, and I got that little bonus at the bottom. However, now I have the Overlord ones equipped, and you can see once this weapon targets something, it's lights out. I mean, I'm getting like 17 mil per headshot, and it's absolutely awesome. And as I start to wrap this video up, I want to remind you once again, this is just a template. I like running the build this way. I mean, you saw the numbers. You may want to run it differently, but again, you can see here a ton of damage, headshotting these elites. Once you get used to this weapon, it's absolutely lights out. With that being said, my friends, I want to take a moment and thank you for your continued support. You guys are amazing, and most of you know by now, one of my favorite aspects about making these build videos is the interaction we have as a community here, so any tips or tricks you want to pass along that can help other gamers, please leave them in the comments section down below. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to be a part of what we're doing. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. But most importantly, as always, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
To attack!